So let me add my voice to Dr. Yorio's. My name in welcoming you to this event. My name is Martin Halbert. I'm the Dean of Libraries at the UNT Denton Campus Libraries. And together with Dan Burgard, who is the head of libraries here at the HSC campus, we are delighted to be hosting this event this year. This is the 5th annual Open Access Symposium in the UNT series, and let me give you just a little bit of background about this event and a bit about the day. We started this symposia series 5 years ago when the campus was developing its open access policy, and we are very proud that UNT was the first public institution in Texas to adopt an open access policy for the intellectual output of our campuses. And for those of you that don't know, UNT, that may be visitors from elsewhere or not regionally, UNT is a system. We are several different campuses located in Denton, which if you don't know where Denton is, if you think of Fort Worth and Dallas as 2 points, the equilateral triangle right up above is where Denton is located, about 30 miles to the north. The different campuses work together on lots of initiatives, and one of the things that we coordinated on was these topics in open access. When years ago we established the Campus Working Committee on Open Access on the Denton campus, I was the co-chair of it with Dr. Bill Moen, and it was very important to us to not only, well, we realized very quickly that we needed to undertake efforts to broaden awareness of what open access was, what it wasn't on our campus, what the intent of the open access movement was largely, and what it would mean for our campus. Roll forward through lots and lots of faculty meetings and meetings with the faculty senate, and ultimately a lot of conversations with the campus legal counsel who wanted to hear about what we were committing the university to. We did, in fact, get a formal UNT policy in place around open access, and we are very pleased about that, even however long it took ultimately. But we realized in the course of all that promulgation on the campus that this was such a active area, such a evolving area, that it was worthy not just of that first symposium back in the day, but that we needed to do an annual symposium to update people on developments in the open access field. And we think we've accomplished a little niche in this area by looking at the intersection of open access each year and some particular topic that's related. So in the past, we've done, the focus of the symposia has been on things like the intersection of open access and open source software, for example, or open access and the research data management movement. At the conclusion of each year's symposium, we poll the audience and ask them for their thoughts about, what they most wanted to hear more about, what their thoughts are on next year's symposia. And sort of organically, a topic has emerged each year that we wanted to take up in planning for the subsequent year's cycle. And last year, when many of you, I know, were at the event last year, a lot of the discussion, went to the point that, well, okay, we've been talking about open access for quite some time now, as a field. We've batted the ideas around, been talking about it for 20 years or more. Let's get down to the brass tacks of it. What are the business and economics of sustaining open access publications? How are we going to transition our field, if we are going to transition our field, from paywall journals or primarily paywall journals to more open access, to publications in the scientific and scholarly fields? What does that look like? How do we keep these, often early experimental journals going over the long haul? How do we transition our scholarly communication cycle into a new mode of operation. And you know, that is a big topic. We have a fantastic lineup of speakers for you today and tomorrow. I think everyone has in your packets a list of all the presentations. In just a few minutes, we're going to introduce to you our keynote speaker, and we'll hear from Peter about Peer J. Let me make some logistics announcements and see if I can kick us off here in a moment. We do have a hashtag that has been set up for the conference that I think is posted over there. Also, everyone, if you want Wi-Fi access, you should have received a little form and gotten access to the Wi-Fi in the room. If you're having any problems, we have tech support down here in the front, Susan, and others in the room that can help and assist with that. I also want to thank all of the people that helped put this event together. You undoubtedly probably met Lisa Londono and Monica Utgochea out there at the registration desks. I want to thank Dan and his staff, who, of course, here on this campus put together much of the events here. So, you know, I was trying to think of a metaphor to kick us off with. It's often good to think of, you know, conference in terms of, you know, some of us after the presenter dinner last night went out for a round of drinks and a game of, an extended series of games in Mega Block Jenga that was quite interesting last night. And, you know, for those of you who know the game Jenga, it's a children's, if you have kids, you probably know the game. And I play it with my kids quite a bit. It's the word Jenga comes from the Swahili word for to build. And in the game, it's this simple, elegant process of you pull out blocks and you stack them up and you see how far you can keep going. Well, what happened in the games last night was interesting, you know, and it often happens when I play the game at home with my kids. You know, as we got into it, you sort of inevitably, I think they probably designed the game this way, you get more interested in seeing how high the tower can go and how long you can keep it going than really beating the other player. And which is an interesting process. And you sort of inevitably come to that conclusion as you're trying not to tip over the tower and keep it stable and whatnot. And you sort of, you're forced into cooperative behavior rather than competitive behavior in the course of the game. And that happened last night, you know, and there was an interesting moment when in the match I had with Matt. Where's Matt in the room? He's still coming? Okay. So, you know, Matt Schultz and I were going at it. And Catherine was over there crying fairs and fouls on us. And although I don't know on what basis, because I think we were both cheating by the end of the game. But, you know, and what do you pay a dean to do but cheat on behalf of their initiative, their effort, you know, try to keep it going and sustained. But anyway, you know, at some point, you know, basically the tower was falling over, and I was like, you know, and it was coming over on me, and I said, okay, it's coming over, but I'm still like trying to hold it up with both my hands. These were, I should say, not the little Jenga sets, but these were made out of 2x4s. So there are these giant towers that were going up about 7 feet above us, or 7 feet high, so way above our heads, and I'm looking at about 100 pounds of chopped up lumber that's about to fall over on me. And Matt leaps in and he's like helping me hold it up. And I'm like, what are you doing, Matt? You know, this is, you know, you're going to win here when this thing falls over. And he's like, no, we got to keep it going. So, you know, I think that was an interesting metaphor, you know, as we think about building the new models for scholarly communication and open access. We very much find ourselves not in competitive positions anymore, but in working together ultimately to create a new stable configuration for scholarship that will carry us forward in the new dynamics that are shifting around us all the time. So let me first say we have quite a crew in this hall. Come on in and you can go ahead, don't feel shy, you can go ahead and get seated. I know there was a lot of traffic coming in, so just grab a seat. And let me turn this over to Dan Burgard, the head of the library here at HSC, to introduce our keynote. Thank you.